Woohoo! Hello everyone and welcome to what's going to be a pretty damn different video for the channel. First things first, let me address the elephant in the room. I have moved house. Look at this. This room is worlds bigger than my old bedroom. So you're not going to be able to see me from my my not so good office space and my even worse bedroom. So now we got all this. All of my stuff is in one place. It's going to be sweet. Yeah, our landlord's kicked us out. I'm not going to get too into it for personal reasons. So, yeah. A couple of very big downsides of this new spot, though, is that we are super close to a road. Which is, of course, why I have my road microphone very close to my mouth for this one, because it's also raining outside. So if I have my mic, all the way in front of me like normal, with the gain turned up really high, you're going to be able to hear the rain and the road a lot. So this might become a regular thing. Anyway, for today's video, we are going to be talking about the one and only King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. I should also mention that we have no Wi-Fi yet at this house. So it's just going to be me talking to the camera. I have all my favorite King Giz tracks right here. And I have all, 13 of the albums I've already listened to off to the left on a notepad file so I can read them off. So yeah, it's not my normal slides format. I just really wanted to talk about this band. And I'm not waiting until I listen to all, 24, 25 albums before doing a ranking, because that ranking would drive me insane. Man. So, you long-term fans of Beatman are just gonna have to suck it up for couple of videos. Well, they're probably in this format. And without further ado, we should get into it, because I've already been talking for 2 minutes. So, coming in dead last at 13 is going to be Changes. This is one that the King Giz fan base seems to love quite a lot. And I'm over here like, out of 7 tracks, only 2 really spoke to me. The reason why this one comes in last is because sometimes King Gizzard will kind of pick a concept and stick with it a little bit too hard, in my opinion. And this is a perfect example of this. All 7 tracks are kind of chill and jammy and slow, which made me scratch my head as to why Laminated Denim is so high, but we'll get to that. Yeah, I felt like they just stuck with their chill kind of sound a little bit too much. When they do that for like 1 or 2 songs per album, I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. But all 7 stick to that a little bit too much. However, Nobody and Gandhi, they both hit that perfect amount of King Gizzard weirdness for me to enjoy them. The other 5 tracks were just kinda eh. Also, the first track, which I think is the title track, I'll of course put that off to the side somewhere if that's wrong. That song was just, it was too minimalist to be 13 minutes, I think. And it definitely had a couple of bits where I was hitting my right arrow. It was just not for me. It's by no stretch a bad album. It's still like a 6 or 6.5 out of 10. It's just overall not really my thing. Oh boy. Number 12 is Flying Microtonal Banana. Hold Your Horses. I still like it. And Melting is one of my favorite King Gizzard songs ever. That a really constant, cool drum beat and the chill mood of it with the keys nice and quiet in the background. Ooh. And the chorus is such a beautiful moment for that track. Billabong Valley is a good one. Oh, son of a bitch, what's the other one? Yeah, Melting. Doom City, that's a really good one too. But the other tracks are not really for me. The first track, Rattlesnake, is another classic for the band, and I'm not that big on that song. Mainly because of how many damn times Stu says Rattlesnake. I remember some YouTuber counted it and he said it was like 47 times. Yeah. It's a song that is decent. But does it really need to be 7 minutes? It could be like 4 or 5. Okay, next up is 2 I'm going to kind of bunch together because they're pretty much the same. We have KG and LW. Wait, I have all 3 Microtonal albums right next to each other. I only just realized that now. You might be thinking, Beanman, this is, like, for you, it's so weird and creative. And it has, like, notes that don't quite fit. You should be all over this, man. No. They stick with, much like Changes, I think they stuck with that chill kind of vibe, a hair too much for these. However, one from LW, that track is awesome. Takes a bit to get going. The first minute's kind of slow and has to build into it. As soon as you get into that nice groove for the rest of the song, though, oh, and that beautiful that beautiful microtonal melody with Stu singing vocals over the top. Oh, and the music video is so trippy and colorful and just an absolute sensory overload. I remember I started watching that music video. I think I was like writing a final paper for uni or something. I just finished my second trimester, by the way, so I got 4 weeks off. Lots of videos to come, boys. And yeah, I started watching about the first 20 seconds because I kind of distracted myself from doing my classwork, because I was like, oh yeah, we're already like 6 songs in, sweet. So I was just like kind of flicking between my tabs. And yeah, so I was already like 30 seconds into this song 1. I was like, alright, we might be onto something here. Then boom, the verse hits and I was just like, nice. And yeah, that's another one of my favorite King Giz songs. But besides that, as for KG, Automation and Minimum Brain Size are both bangers. So overall, the microtonal concept, I like it a lot. I reckon they need to try it a 4th time and return to that weird, very trippy flying microtonal banana kind of sound, but have a bit more going on. Just a bit, guys. Next up is Murder of the Universe. It doesn't really have that many standout tracks, apart from, which ones do I have here? A New World, Altered Beasts Part 1 and 2, and then Alter Me Part 2, and then Altered Beasts Part 3. I have a uni friend who's a big King Gizzard fan, and I said I love Not Gone Infinity, which most people do. No spoilers for where that is. Number 1. Anyways, and that guy was like, oh, you like Not Gone Infinity? You might like Murder of the Universe. It's very fantasy-inspired, Lord of the Rings, blah, blah, blah. So I checked it out, and it definitely did have that Not Gone Infinity kind of sound to it. However, I think this one is even weirder. It's got the spoken word thing, which a lot of people say is a giant downfall of this album, and it truly is. Out of, 22 tracks, almost all of them have the spoken word stuff in it. Oh. Again, it's a Lord of the Rings kind of concept-y album. You kind of have to do voiceovers and blah, blah, blah when you're making a concept album. Look at stuff like Operation Mindcrime or Dream Theater Scenes from Memory. Or, I don't know, The Wall by Pink Floyd. That's another excellent example of that. Here, it's just way too much. Way too much. Mad respect for them for making an entire album which pretty much flows all as one massive piece. Again, much like Not Gone Infinity. But this could have been a lot more interesting than it was. Okay. The next 2 have the longest titles of any album, to the point that one of them I didn't even bother to write out, and you probably know which one that is. Alrighty, coming in at number 8 is Ice, Death, Planets, Lungs, Mushrooms, and Lava. On paper, this should not be an album I like that much, because generally I'm not the biggest fan of albums where the entire thing is just like really long jams, where they just play and play and play and then hack it down, which is exactly what they did for this album, actually. And for a couple of these, obviously. Iron Lung, Magma, and Ice 5. Those are 3 of the best King Gizzard songs ever. And then the last 4 are just kind of like, okay, this is good. I will say that Iron Lung and Ice 5, I started with those songs by watching a live version. Those songs are so good to watch live. Because since it's a super jammy album, the camera just kept on shifting between who's doing solos and whatnot. And since everyone in this band plays multiple instruments, which, by the way, mad respect for them, that's insane. Anyways, they had to keep on shifting the camera around between like the 10 minutes that Iron Lung runs for and the 10 minutes that Ice 5 also runs for. It was so good. So good. I think I like that version more than the studio version, purely because I could see them all doing their thing. And the music video for Ice 5, where they're just like going to Monaco, I think it is, and they're just like swimming and, you know, having meals on the edge of 50-meter high balconies is sick. Yeah, overall it's a very fun and laid back album. Hell, Ice 5 is probably the most fun track they've ever done, but Now we've got a few more that are probably more fun. Speaking of which, Petrodragonic Apocalypse. I'm not saying that full title because I'll be here for another 15 seconds. um, it's probably the heaviest album they've ever done. Oh, but there's Infest the Rat's Nest, which we will get to. Um, yeah, this is another one that's really fun. It's quite simple and straight to the point, but that's also kind of its downfall. A lot of these songs are a little bit too simple for their own good. There are plenty of bangers to be had here, though. Gila Monster is one of the best King Gizzard songs ever. I remember when the music video for that came out. I was just getting into these guys, and that song I just played on loop and loop and loop. I still play that song like once or twice a week, ever since that album came out, what, in June? The music video came out in April, I believe. By the way, that music video is just King Giz to a T. It's so goofy, but still quite intellectual. From a musical standpoint, that is. Converge is a fun one. What else we got? Supercell as well, and Motor Spirit. Both of the super long tracks on this album. Well, I say super long, but like they're both 9 minutes. That's not too bad by the standards of these guys. Because we still need to talk about the longest track they've ever done. We will get there in a second. Yeah, Dragon and the other super long track, which I'm blanking on the name of, those do not need to be 9 minutes. Those could be 6 or 7 easily. You guys know me as Mr. Long Song Guy. Guys, I don't listen to every 12-minute track on the face of this planet and go, oh, it's really good. I go, no, that could have been 9 or 10 minutes. Please shut up. So that's about all I need to say for it. It's fun, catchy, heavy, sludgy, and a very enjoyable album. Which is the first of probably multiple albums they will drop this year, because these guys never slow down. Speaking of long tracks, Quarters is up next. 4 songs which will go for 10 minutes and 10 seconds. Yes, please. The River is fantastic. And track 3, which is called Lonely Steel Sheet Flyer, those 2 songs are awesome. Also, this is one of their earliest albums. And I'm pretty sure most of these albums are self-recorded. This one in particular has this really lo-fi, kind of grainy and harsh sound to it. And it really grows for their throwbacky kind of sound that they go for this. You could honestly mistake this for being like a 70s or 80s album because of the production and how it's written. It's another one of their albums that's really chill. You just kind of chuck it on, sit back with a couple of drinks maybe. I know, scrolling your socials. I know that's what I was doing when I was listening to most of this. And I was also writing another uni paper when I was making this. Oh, this trimester of uni has been mad, bro. Anyways, getting into more personal stuff. Don't need to do that. The artwork is really cool because if you look carefully, each quadrant of the artwork represents the tracks. Oh, son of a bitch. Because the bottom right quadrant has got a plane, so that's Lonely Steel Sheet Flyer. The bottom left has the crocodiles in it, so that's the river. And the other 2 match the artwork as well. It's a win-win. Yeah, overall a very enjoyable album, which I'll probably revisit. Speaking of having multiple tracks which are the exact same length, Laminated Denim. I literally listened to this album only 2 days ago, and it's already number 5. This is a really good album. These last 5, they could all kind of switch around a little bit. My first 2 were set in stone, though. Oh, I kind of want to switch 4 and 3, though. Yeah, I think I will. So, Laminated Denim. This is another one where I started off with the live version. For Hypertension. That song's brilliant. Because I remember I'd just woken up like 4 days ago. I was like, you know what? I want to put on some more King Gizzard. I'm going to go find a live clip for a track I haven't listened to by them yet. And I saw that they had a video of them playing both tracks of Laminated Denim and most of Ice Death Planet's Lungs, Mushrooms, and Lava. So it's like, alright, I haven't listened to Laminated Denim. 2 15-minute tracks. This should be something I can get down with. And yeah, Hypertension is a brilliant track. 15 minutes, very jammy. Strangely, really catchy as well. The chorus melody, which you hear like a dozen times throughout the 15 minutes, which is not a good thing because that melody is beautiful. And the way that they layer it with multiple singers and multiple instruments. Oh. I haven't really talked about the drummer for this band that much. That dude is a machine. Not the most complex or flashy beats in the world, but he holds such a good groove. And Laminated Denim is a perfect example of that. Both tracks had points where they get really intense and fast at times, which really caught me off guard. It's another one of their many albums where the whole thing has just got this nice chill vibe throughout it. And it's just two 15-minute tracks, clocking at 30 minutes overall. It's actually a pretty easy album to just toss on and listen to all the way through, because again, it's only 30 minutes long. Okay, next up is Omnium Gatheron. The longest album they've ever done, probably the most varied one as well, which is kind of why it's so high up. First of all, it did not need to be an hour and 20 minutes and like 16 songs. If it was maybe 12 songs in an hour, it'd be a little better. But the songs we do have that I really enjoy are absolute bangers. Gaia, for example. That's another song just like Gila Monster. I listen to that song multiple times a week. It's so good. This is a song that spawned out of a weird drum beat that their always fantastic drummer came up with. And they crafted this really weird and heavy song out of it. It's also really catchy and fun. This is genuinely a song I would throw on at a party or something. Not even kidding. Blame It on the Weather is a funky rock kind of track. That's a really fun one. Magenta Mountain, Capital 22B, and Predator X are fun ones too. Red Smoke and The Grim Reaper, a flat out rap track, and it absolutely slays. I love that track as well. That's one I play a lot as well. I love that track as well. It's another one I play as well. Wow. Oh, how did I forget to mention the 18-minute Dripping Tap? Beautiful. It's not exactly a song I chuck on that often. I've only listened to it maybe 2 or 3 times because, you know, it's really long and quite repetitive and jammy. This is a song that was apparently spawned out of Stu, the guitar player, and I guess you could say the band leader, was just jamming one night all on his own for like 40 minutes and came up with a whole bunch of different guitar tracks. Then I believe the story is that they hacked it down to 18 minutes and added lyrics and bass and keys and blah blah blah. And the result is a really cool song. A really cool song. Okay, number 3 now is Polygon Dynamland. First track, Crumbling Castle. Gorgeous. Another King Giz track I listen to all the damn time. What else we got? The title track is really good. The Castle in the Air, Inner Cell, Tetrachromacy are all just nice and chill, laid back kind of tracks. It's one of their more proggy ones too. Plenty of weird time signatures. By the way, this band's grasp of weird time signatures is fantastic. There are not that many bands I can think of in this similar realm who throw in these wacky time signatures so cleanly. Blame It on the Weather. I didn't know that song was in 7/4 until I actively counted it. But yeah, Crumbling Castle, it's the opening track and hands down the highlight. It's just 11 minutes of very chill rock music. And again, it's one of their melodies that just gets stuck in my head all the damn time. It's just too good. Alright, my top 2. They're my top 2 right from the start. And funnily enough, these are the 2 albums they started on. And it's not because of that weird psychological thing, where the first album you check out by a band is instantly your favorite. That's almost never the case for me. For Mastodon, I started with Leviathan, but my favorite is Crack the Sky. For Morbid Angel, I started with Covenant, but Altars is my favorite. For Dark Throne, I started with Transylvanian Hunger, but Blaze is my favorite. For King Giz, I started with Infest the Rat's Nest, which is coming in at number 2. This is the heaviest album they've ever done. Easily. Yet simultaneously, it's one of their most fun. The first track is kind of punky, I guess you could say. Superbug is a 7 minute slow jammy one, heavy Black Sabbath vibes on here, especially stuff like Master of Reality. Perihelion is my favorite King Giz song, and I'm learning it on guitar right now. You can bet that that guitar cover is coming soon. What else we got? Hell is a brilliant one. Organ Farmer is a great one. I also want to touch into the lyrical content of this album because it's kind of this big political critique. Like Perihelion is a song about it's about people on a space shuttle or something, and they're looking for a new place to live because the Earth is destroyed. That's a cool political message. Organ Farmer is about like exactly that, organ farmers. People who just want to like kill others to steal their organs or something really wacky like that. Planet B, similar to Perihelion, is about how the Earth is destroyed and they need somewhere else to live. Superbug is like more of an environmental thing, I think. But yeah, overall, this is... I had a feeling this would be a good spot to start because everyone's like, oh, King Gizzard and Fitz Rasness. It's so heavy, man. If you're a metal guy and you haven't listened to this album, you're slacking. I wish I was there back in 2018 or 19 when this came out. I've been all over it, dude. All over it. But number one is the same number one that a lot of people have, Not a Gone Infinity. The first track, Robot Stop, is right behind Perihelion for being my favorite King Gizzard song. And it's another one, which I am this close to covering. I almost have it down. It's another one where they throw in plenty of weird time signature changes, because this song just switches between 4/4 and 7/4 and a bit of 6/4, just on a dime. It of course has that infinite looping concept, which by the way has not been able to work for me. Yeah, because for some reason Spotify for me like has a second of silence on the last track, so the transition back to Robot Stop's not that smooth. But for the most part, this album is just banger after banger. The first 4 or 5 songs, I think, they will flow straight into each other, so you just get this one 24-minute piece. It's just magical. I remember when I first listened to this album maybe 5 months ago, I was just sitting there like, track 5 already? It feels like it's been 2 or 1. I love when bands edit all their songs together. It just gives it such this nice cohesion of, damn, this is a massive track. Big Fly Wasp is awesome. People Vultures is another one that's just so catchy with that melody. Like he's sort of coming back in. Oh. Wawa is a fun one. Another beautiful 7/4 groove that they settle into. And the last track, which I'm blanking on the name of, and Gamma Knife. It's just banger after banger. This is the album that put him on the map. The artwork is fantastic. The songwriting is for the most part kind of straightforward, but it's just enough to make it really interesting. And that little chord progression that they keep going back to, the this is so energetic. I remember as soon as I hit play on this album, I was like, so this is King Gizzard. I'm in for a crazy band. So that brings us to the end of the ranking. I've been talking for 24 minutes as of now. Man, I'm gonna have to hack this down like 2 minutes. So, I still have like 6 or 7 more King Gizzard albums I want to check out. But at that point, I'd only have like 5 left, and I might eventually just like fully discog run them. I might need to do a fresh discography review or something of these guys down the line. If I, of course, do finish off their discography, which will be by far the biggest discography I've ever done. Step aside Judas Priest and Dark Throne. King Gizzo is in town. I also completely forgot to mention that they are from the same suburb I study in, so these guys are super local. Even more local than my beloved Bellacore, who I am seeing for my 2nd time next week. That is irrelevant. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.